woods near Mornan, Cornwall, a shadow lurks among the trees. The Owl Man, first sighted in 1976, it is said to be a towering creature with glowing red eyes, its massive wings stretching wide as it watches from the church tower. Those who see it report an unnatural screech, a sound that chills the soul. Locals whisper that its presence is a harbinger of doom, and if you ever feel unseen eyes upon you in the night, do not look up.
Monstrous shapes. A young girl lay in her bed, the covers pulled tight around her, her heart pounding in her chest. The house was silent, save for the rhythmic creak of the floorboards and the rustling of leaves outside her window. A familiar sound reached her ears, a soft, wet lapping. She reached down, her hand dangling over the edge of the bed, expecting the comforting lick of her dog. A warm, wet tongue met her fingers, a sensation that sent a shiver down her spine. She smiled, reassured by the familiar presence of her furry companion. "Good boy," she whispered, pulling her hand back under the covers. The lapping continued, a rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound. She drifted off to sleep, lulled by the comforting darkness and the gentle rhythm of the licking. But in the deepest shadows of her room, a different kind of comfort lurked. A figure, silent and unseen, crouched beneath her bed, its eyes gleaming in the darkness. It was not a dog that had licked her hand, but something far more sinister. A creature of nightmare, its breath hot and rancid, its touch cold and clammy. Night after night, the ritual continued. The girl, lost in the innocence of sleep, offered her hand, and the creature beneath her bed accepted the offering, its tongue tracing the contours of her fingers. Each lick was a violation, a silent promise of the horrors to come. Then, one night, the girl awoke, a scream trapped in her throat. The lapping had stopped, replaced by a heavy, uneven breathing. She lay frozen, her heart pounding in her chest, her eyes wide with terror. She reached down, her hand trembling, and felt not the familiar fur of her dog, but something cold, smooth, and undeniably human. In the dense, whispering woods of Waukesha County, Wisconsin, there is a place shrouded in mystery and fear, a place that some say should never be visited. It is called Haunchyville, a village hidden deep within the forest, inhabited by dwarves who are said to guard their secrets with deadly intent. The legend begins with the claim that Haunchyville lies somewhere near Mystic Drive in Muskego, a road that winds through the trees, barely more than a forgotten path, often veiled in mist. Locals speak of strange occurrences, unsettling sounds in the night, shadows that move unnaturally, and figures that appear in the woods when no one is around. But the most chilling story of all is that of the village itself, where the dwarves are said to live, their tiny homes nestled in the dark corners of the forest, invisible to most who pass by. It is said that these dwarves are not the innocent, whimsical creatures from fairy tales, ferocious and territorial, and they do not take kindly to trespassers. Those who have ventured too close to Haunchyville have never returned, or at least not without disturbing tales. Some say the dwarves are protectors of the forest, guarding it against outsiders who threaten their hidden world. Others whisper that they are the vengeful spirits of a forgotten people, cursed to remain small and twisted, forever bound to the dark forest. What is truly terrifying, however, is the idea that the villagers of Haunchyville are not just reclusive, but possess an eerie power. If you wander too close to their village, they say, you may never escape. The dwarves are said to trap anyone who gets too near, keeping them in the woods as their own, never to see the light of day again. Some even believe that the dwarves have the ability to alter your size, shrinking you to become one of them, forever part of their hidden world. Haunchyville remains a place of fear and fascination. Few dare to seek it out, and even fewer return to tell the tale. If you ever find yourself driving down Mystic Drive, take heed. Some legends are best left undisturbed. Deep in the heart of Louisiana, in the swampy wilderness of Honey Island, there exists a creature so terrifying, so elusive, that few dare speak of it without a shiver. The locals call it the Honey Island Swamp Monster, a monstrous being that lurks within the murky waters and tangled thickets, hiding from the prying eyes of the world. The creature is said to resemble a massive, Sasquatch-like figure, tall and covered in thick, matted hair, its eyes glowing with an unnatural, menacing light. Its gait is described as lumbering, yet its movements are unnervingly fast when it chooses to reveal itself. Some say it has the scent of rot and decay, as if it's been stewing in the swamp's stagnant waters for centuries. Others speak of its deafening growl, a guttural noise that echoes through the dense trees and ripples the waters of the bayou. The first reports of the Honey Island Swamp Monster surfaced in the 1960s, when a pair of hunters ventured deep into the swamp and returned with a story that chilled the community to its core. They claimed to have seen the creature, a towering figure, covered in hair, with eyes that seemed to burn through the darkness. They also found strange, enormous footprints in the mud, too large and too misshapen to belong to any known animal. When they reported it to the local authorities, they were met with skepticism and ridicule. But as the years passed, more and more sightings began to trickle in. Fishermen, boaters, and hunters all claimed to have witnessed the creature or heard its unearthly howls at night. Some say the Honey Island Swamp Monster is a relic of a prehistoric past, a creature that has survived for centuries, hiding in the swamp's thick, unforgiving landscape. Others believe it is something more sinister, a guardian of the swamp, an ancient spirit who has claimed the land as its own. Whether it is a creature of flesh and blood or a supernatural being tied to the land itself, one thing is certain: the Honey Island Swamp Monster is real, and it waits in the shadows of the bayou, its glowing eyes watching, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander too close. If you ever find yourself in the heart of Honey Island Swamp, beware. The swamp has its secrets, and they are not meant to be uncovered. There are many tales of misfortune, but few as haunting as that of Edward Mordache. Born into nobility in 19th century England, Edward was was blessed with wealth, intelligence, and striking features, or so it seemed, for beneath his fine clothing and aristocratic demeanour, he bore a terrible secret. At the back of his head, twisted into his very flesh, was a second face, a grotesque, misshapen mockery of his own. It did not speak, nor eat, nor blink, and yet it lived. Edward's mother wept when she first saw it, and the servants whispered of dark omens. The face, his twin, his curse, was silent by day, but at night it awakened. When the world slept, it smirked. Its lips moved soundlessly, whispering horrors that only Edward could hear. He begged doctors to remove it, but no scalpel could part him from the demon that clung to his skull. "It speaks to me of things no mortal should know," he cried. "It tells me of hell, of horrors too vile to name. I cannot sleep. I cannot escape it." Desperation drove him to madness. No priest could exorcise it. No medicine could silence it. And so, one night, Edward Mordache took his own life, leaving behind a single plea in his farewell note: "Bury me in unhallowed ground. Let not the demon gaze upon the living." His body was hidden away, his tomb unmarked, but some say his cursed soul lingers still. If you listen in the dark, just before sleep takes you, you may hear it, soft, insidious laughter behind your head. Let's journey into the haunting forests of Veracruz, where ancient whispers tell of mysterious creatures called the Chenecas. Close your eyes, relax, and let their eerie legend guide you to sleep. In the dense, untamed forests of Veracruz, whispers of an ancient terror linger, the Chenecs. Born from the depths of Aztec mythology, these eerie creatures are believed to dwell between the realms of the living and the underworld. Their sole purpose? To guard the sacred mountains and wild creatures that roam their untamed domains. But these guardians are far from benevolent. The Chenecas are small, no taller than a child, but their appearance is deceptive. They take on the guise of tiny men and women, their forms twisted and contorted, with eyes that glimmer like blackened coals. Their laughter, an eerie, high-pitched sound, echoes through the trees, growing louder the deeper you wander into the forest. Travellers who hear this sound know they've strayed too far into Chenec territory, and once the creatures have set their sights on you, escape is nearly impossible. The air grows thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and rotting leaves, and suddenly you'll realise that the path you were following has vanished. The trees around you seem to close in, and the familiar sounds of the forest, birdsong, the rustling of leaves, fall deathly silent. It is then that the Chenecs strike. With swift, silent movements, they dart between the trees, their eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Their soft whispers crawl inside your head, filling your mind with confusion and dread. Legends say that the Chenec possess a terrifying power. They can steal a person's tonali, the very essence of one's soul. Once taken, the victim is left wandering roots behind. The only way to break free is to return to the forest and appease the Shaneks with offerings of food or valuables. A dangerous proposition, for those who return rarely make it out alive. In the dark, shadowy depths of the forest, the Shaneks wait, ever watchful. For once you enter their domain, you belong to them, and they will not let you go. In the shadowy streets of Prakanong, Bangkok, a chilling tale has been whispered for generations, a story so terrifying it has transcended time and become one of Thailand's most infamous legends. This is the story of Mai Nak, the vengeful ghost of a woman whose love defied even death. The legend begins during the Ratanakosin era, when Nak, a young and devoted wife, lived with her beloved husband Mak in a small home near the Phrakanong Canal. Nak was deeply in love with her husband, but their happiness was cut short when Mak was conscripted into war, leaving her alone and heavily pregnant. Tragedy struck while he was away. Nak and her unborn child both died during childbirth. Her love for Mak, however, was so strong that her spirit refused to move on. When Mak returned, he found Nak waiting for him, her smile as radiant as ever. Unaware of her death, he lived with her, oblivious to the chilling truth. Villagers, knowing she was a ghost, tried to warn him, but anyone who dared interfere met a gruesome fate. Nak's wrath knew no bounds. Her vengeful spirit haunted the village, her cries echoing through the night as she clung desperately to her love for Mak. The truth was revealed when Mak witnessed her supernatural nature, a ghostly arm extending to pick up a fallen item far beyond human reach. Overcome with fear, he fled to the temple, seeking sanctuary from her relentless spirit. To this day, Mainak's story endures, her legend immortalized in plays, films, and whispered warnings. Her spirit is said to still linger near the canal, a tragic figure bound by love and sorrow, forever haunting the land she once called home. Travellers to Phra Kanong are warned, tread carefully, for Mainak's love may not let you go. In the chilling depths of Staten Island's folklore, a sinister figure known as Cropsey stalks the nightmares of those who dare to whisper his name. Originally conceived as a boogeyman to scare children into obedience, Cropsey evolved into a far more horrifying reality, merging with the true crimes of a man named Andre Rand, whose deeds during the 1970s and 1980s turned him into a living embodiment of the legend. The tale of Cropsey began as a ghost story, one that parents recounted during hushed evenings, a spectral figure lurking in the shadows of the woods, preying on wayward children who strayed too far from home. Descriptions varied, but all agreed on his ghastly demeanour, a disfigured face, haunting eyes, and a hook for a hand, dragging behind him the echoes of chains he rattled, a warning in the wind. As the urban legend grew, so did Cropsey's malevolence. He was said to reside in the ruins of the abandoned Willowbrook State School, a place already steeped in dark history due to its controversial past, as a residence for children with disabilities, subjected to horrendous conditions. Here, Cropsey found his sinister refuge, emerging under the cloak of night to chase the echoes of laughter with a hunter's glee. But the line between myth and reality blurred horrifically when children in Staten Island began to disappear in the 1970s and 80s. Panic gripped the community as the legend of Cropsey seemed to come alive. And then came Andre Rand, a former employee of the Willowbrook State School. When he was arrested in connection with the disappearances, the people of Staten Island were aghast to find that their boogeyman had taken human form. Rand was convicted of kidnapping, and the community was forced to confront the terrifying possibility that Cropsey was not just a tale to frighten children, but a real predator walking among them. Each trial brought more attention to the legend, each disappearance a grim chapter added to the lore. Today, the story of Cropsey remains a macabre token of Staten Island's history. The dilapidated structures of Willowbrook still stand, overgrown and forsaken, yet pulsing with the dark heartbeat of past atrocities. Those who venture near claim to feel a chilling presence, hear the faint rattle of chains, or see a shadow dart between the trees. Cropsey has transcended his origins as a mere boogeyman to become a symbol of real-life horrors, a cautionary tale that warns of the monsters that may dwell not just in our stories, but in the very heart of our communities. Let's journey into the mysterious world of the Boo Hags, a spine-chilling urban legend from the Gullah culture. Relax, close your eyes, and let this eerie tale guide you into sleep. The legend of the Boo Hags originates from the Gullah culture, deeply rooted in the coastal regions of South Carolina and Georgia. These skinless, vampire-like witches are said to be evil souls who remain in the mortal world after death, seeking out the living to continue their existence. Unlike traditional vampires, Boo Hags don't drain their victims of blood. Instead, they feed off their breath, leaving their prey exhausted and lifeless. According to the legend, Boo Hags are born from wicked souls who fail to move on to the afterlife. Without their skin, they appear grotesque, raw, red and sinewy, making it impossible for them to blend in with the living. To navigate the human world, Boo Hags steal the skin of their victims, slipping it on like a disguise. Once they've taken someone's skin, they go out into the night to ride. This is a term used to describe their haunting behaviour, where they visit the homes of unsuspecting victims and take control of their bodies while they sleep. The process begins when a Boo Hag silently enters a home, usually through cracks or open windows, as they are believed to be capable of squeezing through the smallest of spaces. Once inside, they sit on the chest of their sleeping target, feeding on their breath and life energy. As the Boo Hag drains its victim, the person will experience intense nightmares, leaving them physically weakened by morning. While the Boo Hag feeds, the victim is paralysed, unable to move or wake. By dawn, the witch leaves its victim, slipping away before anyone realises what happened. However, Boo Hags have a weakness. They must return the skin they've stolen before sunrise, or they will be exposed and destroyed by daylight. If caught without their skin, they are vulnerable and can be easily defeated. To protect themselves, people in Gullah communities often took precautions to ward off these sinister beings. One method involved placing a broom by the door or scattering rice on the floor, as Boo Hags are said to be compelled to count small objects. If a Boo Hag becomes distracted by counting, it won't have enough time to finish before the sun rises, forcing it to retreat to avoid being caught. Another common belief is that painting windowsills and doors blue, a colour thought to repel evil spirits, can keep Boo Hags from entering a home. The colour, known as haint blue, is a staple in many Gullah households, used to protect against a range of supernatural threats, including Boo Hags. Those unlucky enough to fall victim to a Boo Hag may wake up feeling completely drained, as if they've run a marathon in their sleep. The exhaustion is a telltale sign that a Boo Hag visited during the night. If a Boo Hag becomes particularly attached to a victim, they may return night after night, eventually leading to the victim's death through sheer locals whisper of a spectral vessel that has haunted the river for centuries. Known as the Death Ship of the Platte River, this ghostly apparition appears suddenly, cutting through the fog with an unnatural silence that chills even the bravest souls who witness it. Those who have seen it claim it's no ordinary ship, but a cursed harbinger of doom, a warning of death for those unfortunate enough to catch a glimpse of its decaying masts and spectral crew. The ship is said to be a battered, ancient vessel, its once proud sails now tattered and hanging limply, though no wind stirs them. The entire ship glows with an eerie, grey light, casting an unnatural pallor over the river as it moves silently, with no sign of rippling water to mark its path. Its wooden hull appears worn and rotting, covered in strange mosses and barnacles, yet it glides as if untouched by time. Witnesses recount that the ghostly ship seems to be staffed by a crew of shadowy figures, barely distinguishable from the mist that clings to the riverbanks. These phantom sailors stand deathly still, their hollow eyes staring blankly ahead, as though seeing a world beyond the living. The sight of them is enough to paralyse anyone who dares to watch, their forms flickering like candle flames in the fog, silent, yet filled with an overwhelming sense of dread. According to legend, those who see the death ship of the Platte River are destined to witness a death, often their own or that of someone close to them. Stories tell of pioneers and river travellers who encountered the ghostly vessel and soon after met tragic ends. One tale describes a fisherman who spotted the ship gliding down the river on a foggy morning. Mesmerised, he watched as one of the ghostly sailors extended a bony hand and pointed directly at him. Within days the man fell ill, his life draining away under mysterious circumstances. Another chilling account recalls a young couple who were boating on the river at dusk when the ship emerged from the fog. They watched in horror as the crew seemed to look straight through them, their empty eyes filled with a cold indifference to the living. Days later, the couple's bodies were discovered on the riverbank, their boat overturned, and no explanation for their sudden deaths. The death ship of the Platte River is no mere phantom tale. Locals swear by its appearances, warning travellers not to linger by the river when the fog thickens, especially near Alcova and Torrington. It's a grim reminder that some spirits do not rest, and that some waters are forever cursed. The ship drifts onward, a harbinger of death, carrying the souls of its doomed crew, forever bound to the Platte's dark, winding course. The elevator game is not for the faint of heart. This eerie ritual, which originated on a Japanese forum in 2008, promises to transport players to an alternate world if they follow its chilling steps precisely. But those who play it know the risks. A journey that may lead them somewhere they can never return from, with a sinister presence haunting their every step. The rules are deceptively simple. Enter an empty building with at least 10 floors and step into the elevator alone. Press a specific sequence of buttons, 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5, and upon reaching the 5th floor, something unsettling is said to happen. The door may open, revealing a mysterious woman standing there, dressed in shadows and staring straight ahead, ignoring the player. Legends warn never to look at her, speak to her, or acknowledge her presence, for she is not human. Those who break this rule have reportedly vanished without a trace, drawn into her icy, haunting gaze. If the ritual continues correctly, pressing the 1st floor should cause the elevator to ascend to the 10th floor instead, defying the commands. When the doors open, players will find themselves in a world both familiar and unsettlingly different, a barren, dark version of their own reality, empty and silent. Outside, a red cross glows ominously in the distance, casting an eerie light over a desolate landscape. They say if you step out here, you may become trapped, lost in this strange dimension, never to return. To return to the real world, the player must repeat the same button sequence, resisting the urge to look at the woman if she reappears. But the game is dangerous. Many who claim to have survived report feeling watched, plagued by shadows and strange figures following them long after they leave the elevator. The elevator game is not just a harmless superstition, but a doorway into darkness, a ritual that blurs the line between worlds and calls forth a presence that seems to lurk in the shadows. And for those who dare to play, one warning remains. Once you enter, you may never find your way back. Clinton Road, a desolate stretch of asphalt in the heart of New Jersey, is infamous for its eerie atmosphere and the legends that cling to it like a cold mist. One of the most chilling of these stories is the tale of the ghost boy who haunts the old bridge along the road, forever waiting in the dark for those brave or foolish enough to seek him out. The legend begins with a tragic tale of a young boy who died under mysterious circumstances many years ago. Some say he drowned in the murky waters beneath the bridge. Others whisper that he was a victim of an accident, but no one truly knows. What is certain, however, is that his spirit never left the bridge. Instead it lingered, bound to the spot by the horrors of his untimely death, waiting for those who might encounter him in the dead of night. The story goes that if you visit the bridge on a quiet, moonless night and throw a coin into the dark waters below, something strange will happen. At first, it might seem like nothing more than a silly superstition, but as the night stretches on, the air will begin to feel heavy, thick with an unnatural silence. The shadows around the bridge will grow deeper, and you may feel an unsettling chill on the back of your neck, as if you're being watched. Then, if you return to the spot after a time, you may find the coin you tossed into the water resting at your feet, returned to you as though by some unseen hand. At first, it's easy to dismiss this as coincidence. Perhaps the current brought it back, or it was there all along. But those who have returned again and again tell a different tale. The coin isn't just lying in the same spot, it's placed right in front of you, as if someone or something wants you to find it. But the most chilling part of the story is the boy, some say. In the moments before the coin is returned, they've seen him, standing just out of reach, a small, pale figure. His face is obscured in the darkness, but his eyes are unmistakable. Empty, hollow, staring at you with an otherworldly intensity. He does not speak. He simply watches, waiting. And when you turn away, even for a second, the coin is there. Returned as if by magic, the boy's intentions remain unclear. Is he trying to communicate? Or is this some twisted game he plays with those who dare approach? No one knows, but one thing is certain. There is something deeply unsettling about the presence that haunts that bridge. Many claim that after encountering the ghost boy, they feel an overwhelming sense of unease, a feeling that they are never truly alone, no matter where they go. And so the legend of the ghost boy persists, drawing thrill seekers and curious souls to Clinton Road, where the line between life and death seems thinner than anywhere else. But for those who dare venture near the bridge, remember this: once you make contact with the boy, once you feel his eyes upon you, it may be too late to ever leave that haunted place behind, because some spirits never let go. Tonight we explore the unsettling legend of Jarrell Bettis, also known as the Dog Boy, from Quitman, Arkansas. Relax and let this eerie tale of mystery and folklore guide you gently to sleep. The legend of Jarrell Bettis, often referred to as the Dog Boy, is an eerie urban tale that has circulated for years in Quitman, Arkansas. According to the legend, Bettis was a deeply troubled young boy with a dark and sinister streak. Locals recall strange behaviour from his early years, including capturing stray dogs and cats and allegedly torturing them, which earned him the ominous nickname Dog Boy. As he grew older, the stories surrounding Bettis became even more disturbing. It's said that he eventually turned his violent tendencies toward his own family, reportedly terrorising his parents. He was rumoured to have kept his elderly parents essentially imprisoned in their home, where neighbours would occasionally hear strange noises or catch glimpses of unusual activity. Some claim that Bettis grew into an unnaturally large man, his physical size adding to the fear he instilled in those around him. The house where Bettis lived, located at 65 Mulberry Street, became infamous in the community. People began to believe that the home was haunted, not just by Bettis's malevolent presence, but by the spirits of the animals he had tortured over the years. After his parents passed away under mysterious circumstances, rumours swirled that their deaths were linked to his abusive behaviour. Though much of the story is based on hearsay and local gossip, the legend of Jarrell Bettis persists in Quitman. The abandoned home became a focal